day 5 of 5, covering the context of Jesus going into this Easter weekend. Yesterday we covered the Passover meal, and today we are covering what has just happened after the meal. Jesus takes Peter, James, and John into a garden called Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus practices solitude and prayer, asking for the Lord to give him strength throughout the suffering that is going to come upon his life. In this garden, Judas brings soldiers where they ask, "Who is Jesus?" where he is, and Jesus steps forward and says, "I am he." The soldiers go and arrest Jesus, and at this time Peter draws a sword and starts to attack the soldiers, and what you would think is Jesus and the disciples could run away and they could fight back and get out of the situation, but Jesus accepts the fact that God's will is for him to be crucified, and so he gives in to the arrest. They're taken to the high priest's house where Caiaphas, who we talked about before, lives, and he is questioned by these high priests all throughout the night, as well as Peter being questioned 3 times by different people if he is a follower of Jesus, and he denies it all 3 times. Morning comes and he is taken before the governor, Governor Pilate, and Pilate talks to him and sees the whole situation, and he doesn't see why Jesus should be guilty, but he takes Jesus before the people, and the people choose Jesus to die instead of a man named Barabbas. What happens is that Jesus is whipped, and he wears a crown of thorns, and he carries a cross, and then he is hung up on that cross, and it's something that I encourage you to go read on your own. And what happens at the very end is Jesus' final words are, "It is finished." And it brings these words of Paul in Romans 5, 8 through 9, where he says, "But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. And since we have been made right in God's sight by the blood of Christ, he will certainly save us from God's condemnation." By God sending Jesus down to die for us, shedding his blood, we have been saved by God's condemnation that we deserve, but we are saved through Christ's death, and we have the ability to accept God's grace. Guys, I hope that you found some type of information or new context that you haven't learned before throughout this series, and I'm excited to see you watch some more of my videos later on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.